literally have to check my levels too because I usually
Teddy D said you gotta be quiet.
I'm sorry.
No.
Teddy D says you loud.
Don't put that on me. Family, welcome back to another episode of the Why Not Podcast. I'm your host, Teddy D. And as always, we're glad to bring the show to you now on the Black Astronauts Network. One of the reasons that we are able to bring this show to you is because of our awesome patrons. So I do want to give a second to shout them out. Shout out to V. Williams, Peter H., Pasto Chide, Felt 5, Robbie R., Deloya, Sadita H., Shalonda W., Wonga, Cameron B., Mr. Brent, what up, homie? Simo, Ashley G., what up, Louisville? Chonella, Knowledge, Dre, The Greatness That Is MJ, Donald, Afilio Ono, Teddy Funk, Charlie Snowflake, and Angela D. Thank you to them and everyone who has been cool enough to donate in any way possible. We genuinely do appreciate it. So today is a great show. It's a show that I've been looking forward to bringing you. Listen, if you are one of the people that enjoy what I affectionately refer to as the Chitlin Circuit of podcasting, as you may have heard me mention several times before, I'm a big podcast fan. Today's guest is possibly the only person that I can say is a bigger fan than I am of all different shows and content creators all over this world. He is someone I'm happy to personally call a friend, and I've had the chance to work with for a while. This gentleman resides from the great state of California. He has legitimately gone from a listener of podcasts to now someone who's creating not one but two dope shows. I'm honored to say he got his start on the Why Not Podcast old feed. You know him as the dude that calls with the hilarious voicemails and or emails. None other from L.A. or the L.A. area, we'll say. You can find his show, BTG for President or Open Run, anywhere where you find fine podcasts in these streets. The homie, Baylor the Great BTG. What's going on, man?
Hey, I don't eat chitlins though.
What I mean, but are you sure?
I'm positive. I started eating chitlins like in '89.
Did I tell you how my parents got me to eat chitlins as a kid?
Nah.
They told me they were egg noodles.
Oh, that's foul.
That's so foul.
Wow.
It's so foul, man. I was like, oh yeah, I love noodles. He's a little chewy. What's going on?
Well, why would you go? Well, why would you?
I never said I went to Stanford. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I should have figured it out, but we're missing the point here, guy. We're missing the point. I ate them and I didn't know. So there you go.
Okay. Do you still eat them?
No.
Okay.
I do not, man. Yeah, as always, great way to hijack the conversation as the first thing that you say on the show. Well done, sir. Well done. So what's going on with you, man?
Same old, man. Another day, another dollar.
Nice. I mentioned in the intro, you have gone from someone who did not produce shows to someone who produced what you refer to as the mixtape, right? Baylor's Thoughts from the Why Not Podcast. And now you are part of making 2 shows per week. And not just, like group shows, like solo shows where it's all you, which is crazy. How talk to me about that transition and how it's been for you actually starting to really get your feet wet in the podcast game.
I mean, I had to channel my inner Michael Jackson and just say I have to part So I got to go solo. You know, if I'm going to do a podcast, I got to go solo. You know, I think Rookie of the Year.
Hey, you're so humble. I love it.
No, but seriously, I didn't plan on doing no podcast. I always thought about it, but no, man, it wasn't until you and Be Honest just forced me, and y'all literally forced me into the game. Mm-hmm. And I just said, all right. And then next thing you know, started out with one podcast, and then a couple of weeks later, I got another one, and it's been going ever since. It's been good.
Dope. And then you mentioned the homie Be Honest from the No Nonsense Show. Shout out to him as well. And talk about the network that you're on right now.
The Rare Science Network. So the flag show is the No Nonsense Show, but there's some other shows on there, included my two shows. Mm-hmm. We got another sports show with Jamie Mack, one of the No Nonsense hosts. I think it's ADD Sports or Sports ADD. Mm-hmm. It's a newer sports show that he's doing. It's dope. They also have another show called Music, Love, Life. They talk about some current events and things like that. Whole totally different crew. Is Be Honest and two other people, and we also have a premium. We have in the Slack room. We have a couple of people in the Slack room that we talk every day. So it's like a huge group text message. Even though the Slack room is supposed to be used for work, it's just we're in there. And something is wrong with everybody in there, and I love them. It's like a big dysfunctional family, but we have premium content, and so inside that premium content, you'll have shows from the Young Cat, French Reggie, Jay Smooth, Jamie Mack, myself, and Be Honest, but only the people that subscribe to the premium content can hear it, and it's more of a personal, intimate. Small little meal shows and things like that, pillow talk or talking in the car and things like that.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely a dope network. You put me up on them early on, man. So shout out to them for the work they do, and they're dope for something that we hope to be doing more of here in a while, which is putting the video with the podcast. Like they always have some dope visuals to go with it, man. So shout out to the homies over there. So yeah, man. So that's dope. Let's do a little bit of This Is Your Life with podcasting, right?
Okay.
And I know that once again people have heard us refer to you offhand, but this is the profile of the name that you always hear on the show, right? So talk to me about how you actually got started with podcasting.
Okay, so I think it was about maybe 3 years, maybe 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. I played fantasy football, and like the first my first 2 years of actually being competitive in a money league, I came close to winning the championship, and after that, I was just like, I need to up my game. I need to do more research, things like that, look up different strategies. So I seen this podcast, the podcast icon on an iPhone just stares at you every day. You don't know what it is.
Yeah, you can't get rid of it. Yeah.
Right. But it was empty at the time, so it was no notifications or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But I've always heard of podcasts. I just never knew what it was.
Right.
And so, I think I must have been listening to Sports Center, and they were saying, or get caught up on our shows, listening to our podcast. So that's what I did. I clicked on the app, and I looked for some sports shows, and then I started to look for some fantasy football podcasts.
Okay.
But I didn't stop there. I said, if they got this, let me see if they can have any black podcasts. And I just put, I went on the internet and just Googled black podcast, and literally the 3 shows that popped up was the Black Astronauts, In Deep Show, and the Black Guy Who Tips.
Yeah. Yeah, we literally have almost the identical 3 starting podcasts, man. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So, and then I was listening to, Aaron B in the gang a while ago, and the first episode they was talking about video games, and I'm like, yo,
Yeah, I can get down with that. Yeah.
let me subscribe to this. And then the In Deep show was one of those. It was one of those underground clubs, Hennessy, incense. And I'm like, I like this.
Yeah,
I don't care where you guys are from, but I like this.
Yeah, I know people. I still, dare I say, man, I still think In Deep is underrated as far as how much love I think they should get, dog. Like Big B and Queen Neen, like that's the plug. And tell me somebody who does current, topics. I'm not gonna call them all current topics. Tell me somebody who does better than Doc, man, when it comes to giving you the rundown, man. Like I love In Deep, bro. I love In Deep show.
The In Deep show to me, they're the roots. That's what I consider. They're the roots.
Yeah, man.
And of course the black guy who tips.
Yeah, man.
Riding Karen, like, come on, man.
You know what's so ill about the black guy who tips, man? Like I'll be honest, just a little behind the scenes. Sometimes I'll talk to the wife. I'm just like, baby, I've been putting in some work as far as podcasting this week goes, right? So I'll do the main BAP, and then maybe 1 or 2 shows outside. Yo, Rod and Karen, my God, dog. Do you know how much podcasting they do?
Yeah, they be dropping like 5-7 episodes a week.
I mean,
and then on top of that,
but it's good on top of it, because I think people could, if they really tried, to podcast as much as they could, but it would be crap, a lot of it, if not most. But it's still good. Like that,
he's putting out quality albums.
Yeah, bro.
Like back to back to back, like he's feeding us or whatever, and he interacts. Yo, I got a birthday wish from him, and I felt extremely special.
Hey,
extremely. I shared it. I shared it with myself. I got a bone to pick with him though.
We already know.
Because a while ago, this is when I first started listening to the show.
Right.
He was like, he was gonna be tweeting on Twitter or whatever. He was like just asking some random questions. Yeah. So I said, look, it was a matchup between Dame and Westbrook. I don't know if he remembered this or not, but I asked him, I said, do you think Dame and Westbrook is going to go at it tonight? Mm-hmm. He said on his show, I don't know why you would think they would fight. I said, yeah, all right. Like, he really chopped me down. I was like, it doesn't mean that though, right? I just, back and forth points.
I mean, listen, just because he took a shot, just because he shot you down, bro. I mean, I think he got what you were saying, but he's just like, bang, bang, take that. Dog.
Yeah, he shot me down. But he gave me a birthday wish, last year, and I was like, yo.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's dope, man. So that's how you started, right?
Mm-hmm.
How soon afterwards, when after you started, did you start to really get into it? Because Ray and I talk about this often. There's always to me there's a fair amount of podcasters that a lot of us listen to that just legitimately don't like podcasts. They don't listen to podcasts, which I always think is funny. But those of us that are into it are really, really into it. You know what I'm saying? So when did you start to look at yourself and you were just like, you know what? Like I might really, really be into this.
Well, because of when I was listening to the BAP show, mm-hmm. Hey, you guys talk about great topics every week. Mm-hmm. And so once y'all said, send us some feedback on this certain topic, I said, oh, y'all want to hear me talk? That's what y'all want to do? So look, I'm like, all right, let me give it a chance. So I sent some feedback in.
Right.
And they and they read it. This is before I upgraded to the audio.
Right. Right.
And so they read it. I'm like, oh, okay. So they're not playing. They really got, and so that's when I really got into it, because I'm like, I'm not shy of holding my opinion back, or how I see things. And then I bent the corner on these podcast streets, and then Dino Red popped up. And,
the homie Dino, yeah.
Yeah, and the Lehman Brothers popped up. Spirit G and Storm popped up. And it's like, man. Oh, and they in my backyard.
Yeah. Yo, the Cali scene is like, I've always taken the Cali's podcast, black podcasting scene, and the talent has always been obvious, but like, what I've always loved about it is each of the shows are still different. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is not like there's no echo chamber when it comes to the format and or personalities, because you're going to get something different even if they talk about the same topic, every now and then. Like, it's a different show.
Yeah, I got addicted to the Lehman Brothers.
Yeah, man.
I did. Yeah, so that was it was dope, man. I actually got to meet, Spirit and Storm. I have yet to meet up with Jonathan and Chris and Dino, but it'll be coming.
All right, yeah, long time coming, man. So you got the inkling. You're just like, man, I'm into it. Let me start giving some feedback. And before you know it, do you remember what your first guest spot was?
It was on the In Deep show.
Okay.
That was the first show I was invited to.
Okay. So Big B.
That's why I said they will always be. I'm grandfathered in with them. They gave
you the name, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, if they go down there and trademark it, they can have all the rights. But I'm gonna try to hurry up and get it. Well, actually, BTG is already taken by a few different companies.
Right.
But I gotta go get some other stuff trademarked. But yes, technically they came up with BTG because obviously saying Baylor the Great all the time is just
right.
That's a lot. It's a lot going on.
Yeah. Nah, I get it, man. I get it. So, excuse me. And in talking about podcasts, we got an idea of how you got started. You started giving feedback. Right now, I want to give you a chance to actually, if you heard the profile that Ray did on me, Ray gave me a shot and just said, like, yo, what podcast are you listening to right now? And I named some podcasts, but I left some dope ones out, which I already apologized to the homie Spirit G. I wasn't even looking at the list halfway through, and I usually group them together. So once again, the G Spot Network. But give us a rundown of the shows that you love listening to and that are in your rotation right now.
All right, you ready?
Yes, sir.
I got Two Shots in the Brew podcast.
They out of Philly, right?
Yeah, I think they based in Philly.
Okay.
I hope they lose in the Super Bowl.
Okay. Shout out to them.
Of course, 3-2-1. You already know what that is.
Hey, out of the Ville, yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Above the Rim.
Oh, man. Shout out to the homie Just Blaze.
Ball Sports, Chicago.
Yeah, hey, man. Hilarious brothers. Yeah.
ETMF.
Oh, man. Sean and crew.
My boy.
Look, Dre. I was going to say, if you're on Twitter and you follow any of us at any time, you're probably going to see all of us talking on Twitter. I would say arguably some of the most controversial opinions that come out of our Twitter group.
It's not. We're not talking. We're yelling type. We're not talking at all. Hey, but you know what the crazy part is about that group? We will sit up there and we will go at it.
Yeah.
And then on another day, 90% of that thread will be friends.
Yeah.
Against one person, though.
Yeah.
But then the next day, that one person will be cool with like 5 people against the other 20. And it's just, man, that messes. It's lovely, man. It is lovely. Like one of my friends that stay out here, he's on Twitter, but I don't think he's into podcasting yet.
Right.
And he hopped in there yesterday with the whole, I got Kobe over Jordan.
Ooh.
Let me tell you.
Ooh.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you, them Chicago boys jumped in there so fast. And look, the thing about it is, this guy is from my turf. So I said, look, even though I don't agree with him, I got to help take his fate. I don't care. I don't care if I don't agree with him or not. He's from my turf.
Right.
So we going to have to fight. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have to fight. I got to take his back. We're going to do this bad boys versus Death Row again. That's what we got to do.
Hey, man. Hey, don't bring that up again on the show. That's these are controversial opinions. But yeah, no, my fault. I interrupted you, but you were saying Ball on Sports according to sources.
Oh yeah, then we got D Murph, Why Not Sports.
Yeah, shout out to the home in Texas.
He also got Flagrant too.
Yeah.
Forget That Yo, of course, those
shout out to
right there.
Detroit, yes sir.
Kevin Hates Hip Hop.
Yeah, man.
Little Miss Entertainment. And I met her and Mr. Awesome. They're from Jersey, so they came out here and they went to the It's the Real show with me.
Oh, nice.
Off That Drink, Petty by Nature, Real and Raw, Stakes is High, of course.
Hey, Indianapolis' own. Shout out to the brothers, man.
Straight out of Low Cash,
St. Louis.
And Tyler, Community Experiment podcast.
Oh man, listen, yeah, I'm proud of the homie, man.
I got a whole gang of homies, man.
Yeah. Man.
The Delvin Cox Experience, the Drunken Nights, the G Spot Network, the Gray Area.
Yeah, man. Jarv, yeah.
Of course, the Flag Show, No Nonsense, Potluck, that's home.
Oh man, shout out to the pettiest friendship and podcast. Yeah.
Of course, my sister's Unscripted.
Oh man, yeah. Who are I think gearing up to come back? Like Quiet as Kept. They really started posting some stuff here recently. So hopefully.
they're the TLC of podcasting. Yeah. We waiting on that album.
That's what I'm saying, dog. They need to,
And then I don't want to forget my boys up in Detroit, the What Up Though podcast.
What up though?
I got some new ones I'm listening to, but I'm gonna have to save them because they still on trial right now.
Okay.
So far, so good.
All right. I can dig it, man. So, I always find it interesting to hear what people are listening to because I think that helps to. I can't speak for anyone else, but that helps to really color where not only my information is coming from, but if I really mess with you as far as a show, like I'm legitimately listening to what you're saying, which means that you're influencing what I'm thinking, whether you know it or not. And I don't know if it's good or bad sometimes. Some of y'all are funny. Some of y'all are funny, man.
Golden State Warriors got a lot of light-skinned cats on their team, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Shout out to the phrase that you helped popularize, the butter cookies. I mean,
the butter cookies.
Nothing says good podcasting like colorism. Great job, Bailey. Great job. So one of the things that I enjoyed the most, just to give a little history and background of you and I. The first person that I ever featured with a consistent spot on my network was none other than you, Baylor the Great. And we did a show that you affectionately called your mixtape, Baylor's Thoughts, where they were short shows. You would come on there. A lot of times it was current events. Sometimes it was more of a broad perspective. But I enjoyed it because it helped give you a chance to really get your feet wet, do your thing, but, a little behind the scenes. Like, I knew that you could do it. But you actually had to see that you could do it, if that made any sense. So that was the first chance that you were just like, oh, yeah, okay, well, it could work. So I enjoy that. But with Baylor's Thoughts, you showcased a unique talent of being able to voice your perspective and making the ridiculous sound normal. you know? And I think that has evolved into one of your favorite taglines now, which is your opinion is better than anyone's facts. And
yeah, somewhere around that ballpark.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, it's just you being you, man. So shout out to that. But what I want to talk about is, you know, a little bit of a broader prospect, you know, hold on. But what I want to talk about is a little bit of a broader topic and a perspective, and that is the ability to evolve as a human, right? And evolution is I think a gift that isn't afforded to a lot of us for, you know, several reasons. And on my show, we typically talk a lot about issues that affect us as people, whether it's politics and or just, you know, everyday living. And one of the things that I truly do feel grateful for and I embrace nowadays is the idea of men and women becoming more aware of our emotional intelligence and the way that we interact with one another, right? And in the past, I think EQ, emotional intelligence, was one of those overlooked parts of not only everyday life, but of work life, where, you know, you had a strong culture of anyone who expressed emotion or, you know, started to process whatever different emotions were going on, they were either viewed as soft or, you know, weak in some ways. But nowadays, we're starting to recognize that as more and more of a strength. Okay. And you and I were talking before the show started, and you were telling me about a show that you just did on your show. And could you tell the audience a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I knew eventually that I was going to have to do a show about my parents passing away.
Right.
So I was trying to figure out if I was going to do it separate, you know, do my mom solo, just give my mom the spotlight, and then my dad another show by himself, and do it like that. But then eventually, you know, from time to time, you know, just like every other human, you know, we shut down sometimes.
Right.
And, you know, I was going through just one of those, you know, shutdowns, and I figured, you know, my podcast came about not just from you guys pushing me to do one, but the idea of having something to leave behind for my kids, so they can know, get a taste of my personality. You know, God forbid, you know, if God is good to me, I could live until I'm 170. But you know, they will always have something to listen to. So I wanted them to know everything about me, including my opinions, what happened in my childhood, how I grew up in LA. And this particular episode was breaking down my parents.
Yeah.
All the way up until they passed away. And so I want to say midway through the episode, I kind of got choked up, broke down. And, you know, none of that is getting edited out. Yeah. You're getting the raw, real version. And it is what it is.
Yeah,
you know?
Man. Well, listen, first off, welcome to the club. Because although it didn't come on this network. I did one of the things that I enjoy doing is eulogizing people that are close to me on podcasts, you know, and it usually doesn't take longer than 5 or 10 minutes, but still I think it's important because there's no better way to really honor someone than to give a really heartfelt eulogy, I think. And it's also a great cap of of their life. It's the finishing touch, if you will. So, you know, I did that with one of my close friends' mom, Miss Mary, on my old network, and you know what? I didn't see it coming, but about halfway through, I'm like, oh, there we go.
Yep.
there we go. There it is. There it is, man. So I thought about editing it out, but then I'm just like, for what? For what, man? Like I'm 100% of a married, confident dude. I ain't out here trying to, act like I'm the toughest guy going, but
look, we can't be a tough guy all the time.
Yeah, man.
We can't. And I look. This is the cool part about it.
Yeah.
I may not know y'all lives like that.
Mm-hmm.
I may not know y'all personally like that.
Mm-hmm.
But trust and believe, I know.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Okay?
Yeah, man.
I know. We all go through it. We deal with it different, but we go through it. We all lost someone that was close to us. Yo, we emotional. All of us emotional.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and like I'm telling you, man, like anyone that has listened to any of us talk about podcasts, I think you'll understand how we feel about the medium. And one of the cool things about it is it's still early on, believe it or not, and podcasting, because even though podcasting has been around for a while, people are just really starting to catch on as far as what it can be and the ability of how it can, connect with people more so than on TV or, even just radio, because radio is the closest format that we have, but podcasting and radio is different too. Like it's still a little different, man. But yeah, I think it was dope that you did an episode like that, and I also think that it speaks to some of the challenges of not only trying to come up with some original programs, but man, talk about how much you've learned about yourself since you've gotten behind the mic. Because I think I think that's one of the things that I enjoy. I enjoy seeing when people realize, like, man, okay, all right, this is really telling me a little bit something.
Well, the thing is, I'm not gonna lie. Early on, I put a lot of pressure on myself because, to begin with, I was like, I was talking to Be Honest. I was like, "What you think, man? You think I should do a show like bi-weekly? Every 2 weeks or something like that, or just do it?" And then he was like, "No, man. If you wanna, you got to keep your foot on their necks, man, every week." And I'm like, yo, that's a huge commitment. This is why I avoided doing this for so long. And I've told plenty of people that have done podcasts. I said, look, man, I respect y'all craft, because I hear the shows where y'all like, man, where people are talking about, people always trying to do podcasts and they don't put in enough work, don't do the research, and the sound quality is bad. And I'm like, yo, if I ain't got it, right, and if I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna disrespect y'all craft, and I've said that before.
Right.
But y'all wasn't trying to hear that.
Nah.
and so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna commit to it. I'm gonna do it every week. And off the bat, I had a few ideas to create some episodes. Mm-hmm. And but after I say about five to six episodes, I drew a blank. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to talk to these people about, but, Be Honest would send me some numbers. Mm-hmm. And